Hello, world universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button so you can get all these interesting stories that I do on these videos. And if you're one of my continued followers, I want to thank you. And please share this information with people you think will find it informative. And I try to bring up subject matters not in one particular place, but in several different cities throughout our country to show that sometimes we are not treating each other as human beings and that we need to regain our humanity. So I don't try to pick on a particular city, but I am picking on America to make our cities a safer place. So I've talked about Chicago, New York, California, and sometimes I have storylines that I have some kind of relationship with. And Houston is the one I want to talk about today. My brother lives in Houston now, moved there from Kansas City, and I try to stay current on what's going on. Well, if you've been following my videos, I did a video last week about two teens that got shot in downtown Chicago on a Friday during their lunch break. They got gunned down and got murdered like we are living in some kind of third world country in broad daylight. And very unfortunate, and it's almost as if in today's time life has no value. Well, this one is about two teens that went in a convenience store in Houston to steal some chips. And then, of course, let me tell you how it all ended. And yes, this is over a bag of chips. So a teen was charged with murder in a deadly shooting in a humble convenience store in Houston. Two teens were there, stole a bag of chips, and they ended up shooting this clerk to death. But let me tell you how it, not in the store, but how it played out. Two teens turned themselves in on Sunday night in connection to a deadly shooting of a clerk in Humble. According to the police, 17-year-old Mario Young Ferguson was the shooter and has been charged with murder. It all started when officials were called about shots fired near Will Clayton Parkway. When police arrived, they found a 42-year-old man suffering gunshot wounds in the front seat of his car at the scene. Authorities said two young black males had entered the Sunoco gas station and stole a bag of chips. The 42-year-old man was an employee at the store and got into a verbal altercation with the two young men. When the two men walked outside, the employee followed them to watch where they were going. So he leaves his job and follows these guys over a bag of chips. Authorities said the employee then got in his car and followed them, and that the teens began shooting at him. That's when the employee tried to reverse and ended up on the side median of the roadway in Houston. So there's a whole plethora of legal and common sense judgment making that was not right in this particular situation. Of course, starting with the two teens stealing a bag of chips. As we all know, in today's time with national media and social media, shoplifting, looting, and stealing is at an all-time high. As I said in one of my previous videos about Oakland and San Francisco, in California, you could steal up to $950 a day and not be restrained by a guard and or arrested by the police. So there's been an uptick in this high value of just walking in a store and just taking whatever you want. And this has to be a real issue at many of these convenience stores and or gas stations all throughout our country. You typically have one or two employees, cashiers. You may have a guard there, and people are just going in there and just purging and stealing like crazy, which is costing many of these companies quite a bit in theft. Uh, Still wrong, doesn't make it right. And this particular situation, I don't know if the employee was just fed up and tired of seeing all the theft taking place. He does not own the company, and why he got that upset on this particular day about them stealing a bag of chips to go outside and follow him, and then get in his car and continue to follow him. And in today's time, everybody has a gun. This is another particular point I want to make, is that getting into verbal and physical altercations with random people out in the streets, you're playing Russian roulette. There are so many legal and illegal guns out on the street, and definitely for young people, if they have a mindset that they're going to go in a convenience store and steal, they probably also have a mindset, if they have a gun, that they will shoot you. Many of our young people are so displaced mentally and psychologically that they just live for today and don't have any plans for the future. And so this employee followed him in his car. A team pulls out a gun, shoots and kills him in his car. They take off. One goes towards the railroad, the other one running up the freeway, and eventually the police call him. Now, many of these companies have a no restraint rule, even for the guards that are there, for them not to restrain or get into it with a customer. And this gentleman decides he's going to do not only get into it with them, but he leaves his store physically and follows them, and he ends up dead over a bag of chips. Now, that's not worth dying for. It's not your company that you own, and he ends up dead. So that was his proverbial mistake. The proverbial mistake for the young men was that why would you commit a murder and loss of life over a bag of chips, and now the rest of your life is going to be spent in prison. And many of our young people that are disillusioned have no fear over jail or prison. And so subsequently, this 42-year-old employee lost his life, and now this 17-year-old teen is going to lose his life physically by being incarcerated for murder in the state of Texas. And he's being charged, the teen is being charged with second-degree murder, which makes this a very, very unfortunate circumstance. And so I like to bring up videos and commentary about things that are taking place in our country where we have to be very careful, getting into it with individuals you don't know, whether it's at Walmart, Target, the parking lot. Many of these young people that are having these dangerous mindsets will harm you, shoot you, and kill you in broad daylight. It doesn't even make a difference whether there's cameras or other witnesses. We are losing our humanity each and every day, and these villainous people and these criminals are getting younger and younger. The whole point is to go to work and to go home. The whole point for these young folks that are 17 and 16 is to go to school, put something in your brain to learn, and then go to college, not prison. You don't go from high school straight to prison. And I know many of these young folks, their circumstances are flawed, and we're living in very trepidatious times. Dealing with conflict mediation and conflict resolution and using your five senses seem to have gone completely out of the window. It's hard to rationalize with someone that's irrational, especially someone that's 17 that hasn't fully developed themselves. So yes, two teens went in there to steal a bag of chips. 42-year-old employee goes out, follows him, and he ends up dead. The loss of life of the 42-year-old is terrible. He shouldn't have made a decision to go chasing after these kids, and these young teenagers shouldn't have made a decision to kill him over a bag of chips. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Tell me what you think. Manifest your truth in the right, conscious, God-fearing way, and I'll see you next time.